Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I am back with another video, and as you can see, this is what the nails look like after 2 weeks. They still look really good. And of course, the first thing that we're going to start off with is by removing the bling. I'm just using a pair of nippers. These I just get from Dollar Tree, and we're just getting rid of all of that bling. And then after we finish doing that, we're going to go in with an extra coarse drill bit to remove the gel polish. But of course, if your client has on a regular nail polish, then you can just use acetone and a cotton ball to remove the polish. Again, the drill bit that I'm using is an extra coarse drill bit by Pana. It is a safety one, so I'll be sure to leave the link in the description. And then also the drill that I'm using is the new drill that I reviewed in my last video, which is also by Melody Susie. It's just the portable drill. So I'm just testing it out to see how many sets I can do with it being fully charged. So I'll be sure to keep you guys updated throughout the videos. And then of course, I'll be sure to leave the link in the description as well as the promo code. There is a 12% promo code for the portable drill by Melody Susie, so that'll be down below. But as always, when we're removing the gel polish, we just start around the cuticle area, and then of course just removing the rest of the gel polish from the rest of the nail, making sure that when you're filing, not to put too much pressure on the nail, because you don't want to cause friction, because it will cause the client's nail to burn. So just lightly over the top of the nail, using just enough pressure to where you're removing that gel polish. And if you're doing this and you're not removing much of the gel polish off, then I would suggest using probably a coarse drill bit, or I guess depending on what drill you're using, I would suggest going up. But I use the extra coarse drill bit. I don't know if there's people out there that might not feel comfortable using this one, but you could start off with a medium one and just work your way up to one that's a little bit more coarse. But we're gonna go ahead and finish removing the gel polish, and then we'll move on to the next step. Alrighty, so now once we finish removing the gel polish, I'm going to go in with a cuticle pusher. And this is just making sure that we expose the new growth and also helps reduce lifting. And also just a little reminder that when you're doing this, you're not actually removing the cuticle. I had someone email me the other day saying that they can't get all of the cuticle off. Like when I'm doing this, I'm literally just pushing back the cuticles. And again, that's just going to expose the new growth. And then after this, we're going to go in with a 180 sanding band to remove the shine from the natural nail. Remember that our body produces a lot of oils. Those oils are on our nails as well. And if you don't remove this shiny layer, if you put the acrylic right over that, it's going to cause the acrylic to lift, because I always say that it's kind of like water and oil. They just don't mix together, so that acrylic on the oily nail is not going to stick. So make sure that you remove the shine. I always go from the right side going over to the left side, just going back and forth until we remove all of the shine. Remember, you don't want to be too rough. We're just gently removing that shiny layer. And then the way to check to see if you did it good enough is just basically go in and look at the nails. If they still look a bit shiny, just go in and file a little bit more on that one spot or wherever you need to. Alrighty, so after we finish removing the shine, I just dust the nails off and I'm going in with the primer. I'm using the Protein Bond by Young Nails and I'm just applying that on the natural nail. Remember not to get it on the skin because it could burn them. After this, I'm going to go in with the acrylic and I'm just using my Mia Secret acrylic system in the color pink, and of course my alpha brush in a number 10. So I just applied the first bead closer to the cuticle area, pat it down and brushing it down towards the tip, and of course cleaning around the cuticle area. Make sure that before you clean around the cuticle area that you wipe your brush off on a paper towel. And then of course, if you need to add more acrylic towards the tip or just anywhere, feel free to do so. Don't feel like you can only apply one bead when you're doing a fill. You can add wherever you need it. It's just a matter of looking at your nail from different angles. Your tip might be a little too thin, or your apex might not be as thick as it needs to be, so you might need to add a little bit more. So just look at the nail from different angles. I know I say this a lot, but that is really important. So as you can see, this is going to be pretty nice and quick. We're just doing that bead closer to the cuticle area, again patting it down, cleaning around the cuticle area, and I forgot to say brushing it down. So it's going to be the same step over and over again. And then of course, again, if you need to add more somewhere else, then that's fine as well. Again, this is my Mia Secret acrylic system in the color pink, my alpha brush in a number 10. And just a little reminder that alpha brush no longer offers promo codes, but if you if you sign up with your email when you first go to alphabrush.com, you're going to have like a little thing pop up that's going to ask you if you want to sign up with your email, and it'll give you 10% off, which is the same percentage that you would get if you had the promo code. So I'll be sure to leave the link in the description so you guys can check them out. Again, that is my alpha brush in a number 10, and it's an oval shape. And based on the shapes, it's really just your preference. I've always used an oval brush, so that's kind of just what I stuck with. But anyways, we're just finishing up this hand. The last bead on this hand, we're just doing closer to the cuticle area, patting it down, brushing it down towards the tip. And also another little reminder that when you're brushing the acrylic down towards the tip, that you're really gentle. You don't want to brush down too hard, because then I feel like the acrylic dries a lot faster when you put a lot of pressure on it, and then that's when you get those bumps and lumps. So make sure you place your bead down and very gently just brushing it down towards the tip. So we're going to go ahead and do the same thing on this hand. So same thing over and over again. Place your bead down closer to the cuticle area, pat it down, brushing it down, and then cleaning around the cuticle area. And also, I will be leaving the link below to the Tammy Taylor practice sheet. And that sheet is just going to help you with, perfecting your acrylic beads. It's going to show you how to pick up a small bead, a medium bead, and a large bead. And it's going to help with basically your liquid to powder ratio. So I'll be sure to leave the link down below. And that's very beginner friendly. So I honestly feel like it helped me a lot when I first started. So hopefully it helped you guys out. And then also I will be leaving the link down below to the step-by-steps sheet that I made, so I'll leave that down below as well. But anyways, now we're just going in with a 8100 nail file, and we're just reshaping those nails. Since it is a stiletto shape, we're just going to alternate from side to side at a 45-degree angle to make it a stiletto shape. And then the very tip, I kind of just rounded off at the very tip, just so it's very straight. So same thing, 45-degree on the sides. Just file back and forth from one side to the other, and you want to make sure that you don't file too much on one side, because then your nail is going to be crooked. So also pay attention to what you're doing. Watch your shape as you're shaping, that way you're not filing too much, and that way your nail is not crooked. But after we finish reshaping the nails, we're going to go ahead and file the nails. And to file them, we're going to be using a fine drill bit, which is a ceramic one, and this one is also by Pana. So I'll be sure to leave that link down below. But as always, we file around the cuticle area, going back and forth from the right side, going over to the left side. And you want to do this until you're able to see where the cuticle is, where the natural nail is, and where the acrylic is. That way you know that the acrylic is not on the skin. This step is very important, because if you don't do this correctly, most likely you will get lifting. So make sure that again you go back and forth until you see that cuticle area, the natural nail, and the acrylic. I cannot stress this enough. This step is really important. It doesn't matter if you prep the nail correctly, if you applied the right size tips, but if you do not seal that acrylic around that cuticle area correctly, your nails will still lift. So make sure that you're very careful when doing this. Alrighty, so now after we finish filing the nails, I'm going to go in with the buffer, and I'm just making sure that the nails are nice and smooth. This is just going to get rid of any of those scratches left on the nail from the e-file or the hand file. And then as you can see, I feel on the nail with my thumb to see if it's nice and smooth, and if it still feels a little bit rough, then I go back in and buff a little bit more. Okay, so I just dust the nails off, and now I'm just using an alcohol wipe to wipe the nails off. And then after this, we can go ahead and apply the polish. As you can see, that one still felt a little bit rough, so I went back in and just buffed just a little bit more. So make sure that when you're doing this is why it's really important to fill on the nail. That way, you know, you make sure that they're nice and smooth. Now we're gonna go in with the polish. So the first color that I'm using is Perfect White by Madam Glam. As you guys know, those are my favorite gel polishes. I just love all of their colors. I have a lot of them, and I am looking forward to adding even more of the Madam Glam gel polishes to my collection. And then to clean around the cuticle area, I'm just using my Mia Secret gel brush. It's just like the perfect size to clean around the cuticle area. The next color that I'm using is Dutch Orange by D&D. As you guys know, these polishes or gel polishes I highly recommend for beginners just because they're very affordable and they're also very good. So I'll be sure to leave the link in the description to a website where you can find these. And I'm going to do that on the pinky, the middle finger, and the thumb. And then on the ring finger, I'm going to be doing some bling. So for that one, I'm going to be using the color Harp on It by Color Club. And I'm only doing one coat of that one. Alrighty, so we're going to let that first hand cure for 30 seconds, and we're going to do the same thing on the other hand. So we're doing Perfect White on the index finger, we're doing the Dutch Orange on the ring finger, or sorry, the pinky, the middle finger, and the thumb. And then on the ring finger, we're doing Harp on It by Color Club. And then once we're done with this hand, we're going to cure it for 30 seconds, and then we're going to go back and do a second coat on both hands. Okay, so now after we finish doing the two coats and curing each hand, we're going to go ahead and do a color marble nail. So as you can see, I'm just using different colors. We're using that same Dutch orange. We're also using lemon juice, fuchsia touch, and I believe the green one is in the color spring petal or spring leaf, I think it's called. But if I find it, I'll be sure to leave the link below. But as you can see, I applied the colors on the nail. All of them are gel polishes, and after I apply the colors on the nail, I'm just using my little Mia Secret brush, and I'm dipping it into acetone and just dabbing the color. I want to make sure that I don't have too much acetone in my brush, because then the color is gonna just like spread out completely. So just to where your brush is damp but not soaking wet. For this one, I'm just gonna do a color at a time instead of applying all of the colors on the nail at once, whichever way you want to do, but it's basically the same thing. So again, just apply the color, dab it with your brush, and that's pretty much it. And then of course we have to cure it as well, so we're gonna cure it for 30 seconds. Okay, so now we're going to be applying some bling on the ring finger. So I'm going to be applying some bigger pieces. So I used my hard gel for that. And I'm applying the big pieces with my wax pencil. So I'm just placing them on the nail. I was having a hard time picking them up with my wax pencil, so that's why I just picked it up with my fingers. But I'm placing those right in the middle, making sure that they kind of like sink into that hard gel really good. And then we cure that for 60 seconds. So same thing, apply your hard gel wherever you want your bling, place the bling over the gel, and then curing for 60 seconds. Alrighty, so next we're going to go in with the Soleil nail adhesive, and we're going to be applying some bling all around the nail. So I'm just using my SS6, SS12, and then I'm also going to be using some other colorful rhinestones. So I'm just going to do them randomly over the entire nail, but make sure that when you're doing this, you apply a little bit of glue at a time. That way it doesn't dry up too fast, because usually with this glue, that's what happens to me. I apply too much or like in a large area, and then it kind of dries once I get to it. So just apply a little bit at a time, and then of course just pick up your bling with the wax pencil, making sure that you also alternate between these sizes. Remember that this is kind of like a little puzzle. You apply them and alternate between the sizes, and if you need to, go in and fill in the gaps with these smaller ones. Okay, so I just kind of outlined the perimeter of the nail with that same nail adhesive, and then after that we're just going to spray the nail with the Mia Secret Gel Resin Activator, and then I'm also going to apply some around the cuticle area on this index finger, and it's going to be the same thing. Just apply the glue, pick up the bling with my wax pencil, and then once the bling is on the nail, we're going to be spraying it with the Mia Secret Gel Resin Activator, and that just helps the glue dry a lot faster, because since it is a resin, that means it's a thicker consistency than regular nail glue, and it's going to take a little bit longer to dry. So with the Mia Secret Gel Resin Activator, it's like it instantly dries that glue. And then after that, we're going to go ahead and apply the top coat, and this time I'm using my Madam Glam No Wipe top coat. And then after this, we're going to go ahead and cure this hand for 60 seconds. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do the same thing on this hand. So again, we're using the Soleil nail adhesive. We're applying the bling all around the ring finger, around the big pieces. And then we're also going to apply some on the index finger, spraying both of them with the Mia Secret Gel Resin Activator. And then after that, just applying the Madame Glam Gel Top Coat. Alrighty, y'all, so here is the final look. As you can see, they look really good. That orange is just like the perfect shade of orange. But as always, I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at GetNailDirty2, and I'll see you guys next time.